let's see. Okay. Oh, and then let's just finish this up on the exterior here. So if we look at the bottom of the brain here, we can see there are these, do you see these two things? And they would actually extend out.
Like antennas.
Right, but what are, do you know what those might be? They would be connected, actually, that would be going to this.
The eyes.
Yeah, well, this optic
yeah,
nerve,
the
the
optic
optic nerve. So those two things are the optic nerves. Okay. Okay. And then over here, do you see these white things here?
Yes.
So those are called the olfactory bulbs, the olfactory bulbs. You have to go the next. Okay, go back this way. Go one, oh, right here. Olfactory bulbs. And so the olfactory bulbs, that's gonna be for olfaction or smell.
Okay.
Okay. And then this is the olfactory tract. This little round thing, this is the pituitary gland, so it's right there. That's the pituitary gland, okay? This round big part here is called the pons, not a pond, but a pons. I always just think a pond is round, so it reminded
Yes.
me of that. So pons, and this stem here, this, it will eventually lead to the outside, go through the foramen magnum of the skull. But when it's in, is still inside the skull, it's called the medulla oblongata, the medulla oblongata. And then once it goes through there, it's called the medulla. Yeah, you could call it the medulla, or like on here, it'll say medulla oblongata.
Okay.
And then it becomes the spinal cord. Okay, and then, so if we look inside now, and what interesting thing is that if this is facing that way, so this is the left hemisphere, right hemisphere. If you are right hemisphere dominant, it controls the muscles on your left side of the voluntary muscles on the left side of the body. So a person is going to be left-handed. If you're left hemisphere dominant, it controls the voluntary skeletal muscles on the right side. So that person's going to be right-handed.
So that's me then, because
Yeah.
I'm right-handed.
90% of the population is right-handed. So.
Wow.
Okay, now inside, do you see this here? So you have to kind of look where it shows the inside of the medial part of the brain. Yeah, like that. This part over here, this is called the corpus callosum. The corpus callosum. Now you have to sort of keep in mind, the spinal cord is going to be coming here, so nerves are going to be going up, or tracts, we would say, going up, taking information up to the brain. The brain says, okay, you better pull your hand away from that, something hot, right? And it sends information back down. So it's going up and down and everything. But this connects to this. So the neurons go in this direction, so it connects the left and the right hemispheres. Okay, so now, that's the corpus callosum. Now, if you follow that all the way back and you kind of go across, you see this tiny little structure here? Mm-hmm. That's the pineal gland. That's the pineal
little
gland.
video thing.
I'm sorry?
Oh, that's just that little video thing. Oh, I'm looking at the picture.
I'm sorry.
She was saying it's really little.
Oh, yes, I'm
Like
sorry.
you can
I'm
barely
sorry.
see it.
Okay, yes. Okay, so that's the pineal gland. Now, let me show you on this side now. Now here's the corpus callosum. It goes back, and then that's the pineal gland. But towards the anterior part of the brain, this is the pituitary gland. So you need to know both of those. One more thing you need to know is, it doesn't show it very clearly here in this model, but right here, do you see that little stalk right there?
Mm-hmm.
Right here, it's not labeled. It's just, it's called the infundibulum. And that's what we call the stalk of the pituitary. It attaches the pituitary to the brain. Now, do you see that there are spaces in the brain?
Right.
Okay, and fluid is going to be filling that. So these are called the ventricles. There are 4 ventricles. And the fluid circulates through the brain, through the cerebrum, and it circulates through the spinal cord. So what fluid do you think that is that circulates through the cerebrum? It circulates through the ventricles in the cerebrum and the spinal cord. Cerebral, spinal,
Fluid?
fluid, cerebrospinal fluid, okay?
Oh.
And so.
Oh, spinal tap, spinal fluid.
Exactly.
Get it now. It all
Yeah,
makes sense.
okay. So, if we could see inside here, there would be a ventricle in the left hemisphere that's called the first ventricle, ventricle in the left hemisphere, it's called the second ventricle. But since they're lateral, not in the middle, we call them lateral ventricles, but it would be 1 and 2. Now, if we look back here again, now, this part here, this, you're gonna need to know, this actual, like this part of it, this tissue, that's called the thalamus, So you need to know the thalamus, and if you follow it down, it becomes the hypothalamus, or leads to the hypothalamus, and then the infundibulum and pituitary gland. So if you kind of remember thalamus, hypothalamus,